Story 1. My mum invited a friend over and she brought her kids. For the sake of the story, let's call them Sally, Lily and Billy. So when the party ended, me and my friends were having a sleepover. And I believe we were watching Nightmare on Elm Street, but I can't quite remember for sure. And then I said I wanted to play hide and seek. Apparently, everyone else was just as bored as I was, as they jumped up at the idea. We all played rock, paper, scissors to see who would be the seeker. In the end, my older brother Charlie ended up being the seeker. While Charlie was counting in the bathroom, the rest of us went to hide. I ran downstairs and hid behind the couch as I was a dumb 8-year-old. Now at the time, my uncle friend Scott was staying with us and he was on the couch drunker than ever. He wasn't bothering any of us though, so it didn't really matter. I remember watching Lily come down the stairs looking for a hiding spot, and for some reason she hid behind the couch with me. And now at the time I didn't really think much of it because I thought it was a genius hiding place. Once Charlie stopped counting, he came to look for everyone. Not to mention that we were playing hide and seek in the dark, which I guess made the experience even more scary. Anyways, Charlie started finding everyone, and me and Lily were still squatting behind the couch. All of a sudden, Scott started laughing hysterically and pointing at something at the ceiling. Then he started saying something really loudly, something like, "They're coming to get you. They're all coming to get you." I was confused and scared at the same time, and I guess Lily noticed as she put her hand on my shoulder and said, "You'll be okay, Kiara, it'll all be okay." I got even more scared hearing her voice as it sounded distorted. I went to look back at her and asked her what was wrong with her voice, but then I saw her hand. Her hand looked really bony and sort of a pale colour. This really concerned me as at the time Lily was a plus-sized black girl. I looked what I thought was her, but then I saw something horrific. I saw a gremlin-looking thing with big facial features. Its eyes, ears and mouth looked massive. It didn't look like it fit the face properly. Once I had looked at it, it smiled like chest of a cat, showing off its crooked teeth. I screamed. I screamed so loud, I jumped over the couch, trying to get away from whatever that thing was. Obviously Charlie heard and came in the room watching me as I ran up the stairs. The thing literally chased me until I ran into my brother Justin's room and slammed the door shut. Everyone came back to the room and asked me what happened, and I told them what I seen. Apparently Lily didn't even enter the living room for the whole round, and she had been hiding under the table with Charlene in the dining room. Also, according to Charlie, he hadn't seen anything chase me up the stairs. Justin suddenly started freaking out, and Charlie asked him what was wrong, and Justin told everyone to look at my back. And we all saw a lot of red on my salmon-coloured shirt, and we all wondered what it was. Charlie lifted up my shirt and saw 4 huge marks from the right side of my shoulder to the left side of my back. It was weird as I didn't even feel any blood or scratches on my back at first. But then it started seeming really bad and I actually started crying. Charlene asked me if I still wanted to play hide and seek, and of course I didn't. I was too scared and I told them just to play without me and I would be staying in the room that we were in. Justin volunteered to stay with me so I wouldn't get scared, and the rest of them started playing the round. Justin was about to bring me to the bathroom to clean my cuts, but suddenly he stopped outside the door. By this time everyone had already found a hiding spot, so it was a bit weird to see someone's head peeking inside Charlie's room. I looked in the hallway and seen the head going back into the room. The head was just pure white and it looked like it was glowing. Also, the hallway light was on for some reason, which is why we were able to see it. According to what my brother saw, he said it had a very narrow neck and had no facial features. It couldn't have been any of us as the thing was too tall and skinny to be any of us. As soon as I saw the thing, I screamed and ran back to the room. Once again, everyone came rushing back to the room and asked what happened. This time Justin told them and asked if Charlie had been to his room, but according to Charlie, he had not been in his room at all. Everyone then agreed to stay in the stage room and watch horror movies till all of us went to sleep. Minus the time me and my sister went to clean my blood from my back and my skirt. It was hard to go back to sleep due to all the scratches, but eventually I did. Me and my sister went to the bathroom to see if my cuts were still bleeding, but surprisingly they weren't even there anymore. It was like they weren't even there to begin in the first place. I moved out of that house in the 5th grade, and thankfully now the house is abandoned. Story 2. I fully expect this story to be lost in the vaults of Reddit. Hopefully it resonates with someone. I've told this story before but with huge frustration, as either people don't believe me or are too skeptical to believe. So after many years of keeping it to myself, hopefully I can find someone who I can relate to. This is a long story, so apologies for that, but I'm including everything that I can remember. This is based in the UK from 1998 to 2004. We lived in a 2/split into 3 bedroom house in a council house near Birmingham. The first part of the story, after recent research, could have been a sleep paralysis episode. I guess my age was approximately around 8 and I woke up in the middle of the night. When I woke up, I felt a large nail scratch me from down the scalp. It came from behind my bed. I still, to this day, can't sleep without that gap being covered. I would frequently wake up underneath my bed in the middle of the night. One time I remember that I was almost being locked up behind the rest pot, sitting up. Once again, this was probably me doing it in my sleep. Other things happened, such as hearing fake whispers at night and having a feeling of being watched. Also hearing footsteps coming up and down the stairs. One time I remember seeing my dogs growl at the ceiling, going from around the room even though there was nothing there. My parents and my brother did not take any notice. Maybe because I was inquisitive or I attracted this type of phenomena. Now going to when I was 15, there was a girl who was obsessed with me at school. She would stalk or hang around my house. She was that bad she jumped off a bridge just because I wasn't interested. Fortunately, she got caught by a friend and she was 20 to 30 feet underneath the water. She's doing quite fine for herself now. One time my phone was non-stop ringing from 12 a.m. to 3 a.m. and it only stopped ringing just because my battery died. I would go to school, sign in the register and truant for the rest of the day. My parents were working, so I had the house all to myself. I went to my brother's room to play the game. Note, this door had no lock on and it was just a standard wooden handle. Fast forward to when I need to leave the room, the door was jammed from the inside. No matter how much I tried, the door just wouldn't open. Outside the bedroom window was a porch, and I could use the outside window to go to the porch and go to the outside floor. I did this and went back to school. That sounds crazy now, but back then it was 2005 and in the UK. After school, I walked back home with my younger brother. My dad was home and I explained the problem with the door, but he proceeds to open it without a problem. And the door did its job properly for the rest of the day. Now to day 2. I decided to do the same thing truant so I can play GTA. The exact same thing happened with the door and I had to climb out the porch again. This time I decided to go back to my home. The volume on the TV was normal with some BBC show, but the picture on the screen shows completely something unrelated. On the screen was a picture of an old lady. It had a white background and it was staring at me. The best way to describe it was like a portrait picture but photo-like. There is no way that this was a TV show, and it had black eyes and didn't seem to have any life in her. That was my last major experience. Looking back, I think the ghost attached itself to me for some reason and I don't know why.